Tension passionate Buffalo, BILLSFANS. Latest news, something big is happening in THE AFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact, ON Buffalo BILLS path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave division rivals stumbling 4 years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Buffalo BILLS fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and other Buffalo BILLS FANS. Let's get to the news. Now, folks, this is the kind of off-season rumor that really gets the Buffalo Bills community buzzing. We're hearing whispers that Denzel Ward, the shutdown corner from the Cleveland Browns, could be on the move to Buffalo. Yeah, you heard that right. It's still just a rumor at this point, but sources close to Diana Rossini are indicating that the Bills are in serious negotiations with Cleveland, talking about a blockbuster trade that would send Ward to Buffalo in exchange for a first-round pick in 2027 along with a second-rounder. That's a hefty price, no doubt, but considering the potential boost to our secondary, it might just be worth it. Now, Cleveland is in a bit of a rebuild mode after finishing with a 7-10 record last season. They're clearly looking to reset and build for the future, especially on offense, which struggled to get anything consistent going last season, averaging just 210 yards per game, one of the lowest in the league. Cleveland's cap space is around $18 million, so they're in a position to make some moves, and trading Ward could free up a significant amount of cap room, about $17 million, that they could use to improve other parts of the roster, especially at the wide receiver position, which has been a clear weakness for them. Meanwhile, the Bills, sitting at a 12-5 record last season, are eyeing this move as a way to solidify their secondary, which has been good but could definitely take a leap forward with a player of Ward's caliber. Deep dive into Denzel Ward's profile and impact what makes this rumor so exciting for Bills fans. Well, Denzel Ward is a true shutdown corner, one of those guys who can lock down the opponent's best receiver and make life miserable for quarterbacks. At 28 years old, Ward isn't just a flash in the pan. He's a proven playmaker with over 15 career interceptions, a PFF coverage grade of 92. 8 and a career average of allowing just 48% of passes to be completed when targeted. That's elite coverage, folks. In 2025, he played 17 games, snagged 4 interceptions, allowed just 55% completion, and scored a PFF coverage grade of 92. 8, with pressure stats that show he's not just a coverage guy, but someone who can also contribute to the pass rush when needed. Just to put it into perspective, Ward's numbers surpass those of our current cornerback, Christian Douglas, who boasts a PFF grade of 85. 2, and allows about 58% of passes to be completed. Adding Ward would give the Bills a massive boost, potentially elevating our secondary from good to top tier. Imagine a secondary with Ward, Tre'Davious White, and other key pieces, all working in harmony. That kind of unit would be a nightmare for opposing offenses, especially in the playoffs. And with the Bills, defense already ranked among the best in the league last year, adding Ward could push us into the top 3 in overall secondary ranking, reducing passing yards allowed by aerial attacks by around 18%, and increasing turnovers by an estimated 15%. Similar to what Stephon Gilmore brought to the Patriots back in 2019. Historical context and the evolution of the Bills' defense historically. The Bills have always been known for their rugged, hard-hitting defense, especially during their Super Bowl runs in the early 90s when they had the legendary Jim Kelly leading an explosive offense. But their defense, anchored by players like Bruce Smith and Andre Reed, was equally formidable. Post-1993, the franchise shifted its focus. But in recent years, under defensive coordinators like Leslie Frazier, the Bills have re-emphasized defensive strength, culminating in their top-tier 2023 defensive rankings. Last season, they finished among the league's best in fewest points allowed, 17.6 per game, fewest passing yards allowed, 188, 3 yards per game, and forced 30 turnovers, including 17 interceptions. Adding a player like Ward could be viewed as the next step in this evolutionary process. His addition would be reminiscent of the Bills' strategic acquisitions in the past, like when they signed Tre'Davious White, who immediately became one of the league's top cornerbacks, earning All-Pro honors and helping the Bills develop into a top 5 defense. Ward's arrival could similarly push the secondary to an elite level, making it a core component of the team's championship ambitions. The significance of the secondary in modern NFL, what makes Ward such a valuable asset in today's NFL. The league has shifted heavily toward explosive passing offenses, with quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen himself, interestingly, a Bills QB who can both run and throw, Justin Herbert and Jalen Hurts constantly pushing defenses to their limits. A shutdown corner like Ward can neutralize one side of the field, giving safeties and other defenders more freedom to roam and make plays. This creates a domino effect. Pressure from the front line increases, forcing hurried throws and mistakes. In 2024, the NFL's passing game continues to evolve. Teams are deploying more spread concepts, quick passes, and multiple receiver sets. Having a cornerback of Ward's caliber would allow the Bills to match up more effectively against these trends, especially in the playoffs, where defenses need to be airtight to contain the league's best offenses. His ability to shut down top receivers like Tyreek Hill, Davante Adams, or Stephon Diggs on the Bills can be game-changing. Future expectations and strategic implications looking ahead. The Bills' defensive strategy with Ward could be transformative. The team already possesses a formidable pass rush with players like Von Miller, Ed Oliver, and Greg Rousseau. Ward's presence would allow defenders to focus more on rushing the quarterback, knowing they have a lockdown corner to cover the deep routes or the opponent's star receiver. This kind of synergy could elevate the Bills into the top 3 defenses in the league, possibly reducing the passing yards allowed by 20-25% and significantly increasing takeaways. From a strategic standpoint, the Bills could deploy more complex coverages, disguising blitzes, and helping their secondary stay one step ahead of increasingly sophisticated offenses. Moreover, Ward's experience in high-pressure playoff games, having played in multiple AFC playoff battles with Cleveland, means he's accustomed to the intensity and can contribute immediately to the team's playoff run. The players involved. Ward, White, and others. Let's take a closer look at the key players who would make up Buffalo's revamped secondary. Tre'Davious White, the cornerstone of the Bills' cornerback core, is returning after recovering from injury, and he's proven to be one of the league's best when healthy. White's ability to shadow receivers and create turnovers complements Ward's lockdown skills. The safety tandem of Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer, when healthy, provides leadership and ball-hawking ability, making this secondary one of the most complete in the league. Adding Ward would give the Bills 3 cornerbacks, White, Ward, and potentially Christian Douglas or another emerging player, who can each shadow opponents' top receivers. This depth allows defensive coordinators to mix and match coverages, keep offenses guessing, and adapt game to game. Cleveland Browns, perspective and strategic outlook on the other side. Cleveland's perspective is equally interesting. The Browns are in a rebuilding phase after last season's 7-10 finish, which was disappointing considering their roster's talent and the investments made in quarterback Deshaun Watson. The team's defense last year was solid but not elite, allowing about 22 points per game, and their secondary allowed roughly 230 yards per game passing. Losing Ward, a key piece, would hurt, but the Browns seem to view this as a strategic move to free up cap space and draft capital to build for the future. In fact, Cleveland has been aggressive in exploring trades this offseason, including potential deals for offensive linemen and wide receivers. Their goal appears to be to create a more balanced team, capable of competing in the AFC North and beyond. Moving Ward, who is entering the prime of his career, might seem counterintuitive, but it aligns with their broader rebuild strategy, particularly if the return is a first-round pick in 2027 and a second-rounder, which could be instrumental in acquiring future stars through the draft. AFC East dynamics and divisional impact now. Let's analyze how this potential move impacts the AFC East. The Dolphins, with their fast-paced offense led by Tua Tagovailoa and Tyreek Hill, rely heavily on their passing game. The Jets, boasting Aaron Rodgers and a revamped receiving core, are also poised to make a significant leap. The Bills, with this addition, could have a decisive edge in pass defense. A secondary featuring Ward, White, and safety help from Hyde and Poyer would be a nightmare for divisional opponents. It could limit the big plays that teams like Miami and New York thrive on. For example, Hill's speed and ability to stretch defenses would be neutralized, forcing those offenses to adapt and possibly become more predictable. Furthermore, in the playoffs, where every yard and every chance counts, having a lockdown corner like Ward could be the difference maker in tight battles. The Bills historically have had strong defenses, but their secondary has sometimes been their Achilles heel, especially against elite quarterbacks. Ward's addition could be the missing piece to make the Bills a truly dominant force. Potential challenges and risks, of course. Every trade has its risks. Cleveland might hold firm or demand an even higher price, especially if Ward performs well in Buffalo. There's also the concern of fitting Ward into the team's salary cap, which is already tight. While a trade would free up cap space for Cleveland, the Bills might need to restructure contracts or make other moves to accommodate Ward's salary. In addition, integrating a new cornerback into the defensive scheme requires chemistry and understanding. While Ward is an experienced player, he would need to adapt to the Bills' system and build rapport with teammates. That said, given his track record and leadership qualities, this seems manageable. Broader NFL context and market implications, this potential move signals a broader trend in the NFL, teams valuing shutdown corners more than ever. The league's offensive evolution makes elite pass coverage a premium asset. The Chiefs, Eagles, and 49ers have all invested heavily in secondary talent, recognizing that shutting down the opponent's best weapon is often the key to victory. For the Bills, acquiring Ward would set a precedent, demonstrating their commitment to building a championship-caliber roster. It could also trigger other teams to pursue similar moves, trading draft capital for proven defensive stars. Final thoughts and future outlook. In conclusion, if this trade materializes, it could be one of the most significant and impactful moves of the NFL offseason, particularly for the Bills and their Super Bowl ambitions. It would dramatically strengthen their secondary, improve their chances in the playoffs, and send a message to the league that the Bills are serious contenders. Looking forward, the Bills' strategy will be to maximize Ward's skills alongside their existing core. The team will likely focus on building a balanced defense that can adapt to any offensive scheme. Offensively, the Bills will continue to rely on Josh Allen's dual-threat ability and an improved run game, but defensively, Ward could be the final piece that elevates them into the league's elite. As fans, we should keep a close eye on how these negotiations develop. If the deal goes through, it'll be a game changer, and the Bills' Super Bowl window could open even wider. The excitement is palpable, and the future looks brighter than ever for Buffalo fans. Now, just a quick reminder, if you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Buffalo Bills news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. It's quick, it makes a big difference, and it helps keep the passion alive. Thanks for your support. And as always, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential blockbuster trade? Do you think Ward is the piece that finally pushes the Bills over the top? How do you see this impacting the AFC East and the Bills' Super Bowl chances? Drop your comments below. Your opinions matter so much. Stay tuned for more updates, and let's keep the passion alive. Go Bills!